For decades it has been the typical Dutch scene: cows, green fields, canals and windmills. By the look of it, it seems that there is a lot of space in this country. However, the Netherlands is one of the smallest countries in the EU. This graphic clearly shows how small. France covers 15% of the total European area, the Netherlands just reaches 1%. But because almost 16 million people live in this tiny country, it is at the same time the most densely populated country in Europe. Almost 400 people per square kilometre live here. In the UK you'll find 250 people per square kilometre, and in Sweden, for example, only 20 people. Besides a lot of people, you also find a lot of cows in this country, 1.4 million. Because of that, it is Europe's most densely milk-producing country. Per square kilometre, almost 45,000 kilograms of milk per year are being produced in the Netherlands. The UK ranks second with a far less 9,000 kilograms per year. Or take Sweden. This immense country produces annually 550 kilograms of milk per square kilometre. The Netherlands may be a densely populated and urbanized country. This doesn't mean dairy farmers aren't important. Just take a close look to this graphic. A vast 42% of the total area in this country is being managed by dairy farmers. Compare that with the 27% in Finland, 14% in France and only 2% in Spain. The theme of this annual Congress is New Reality. The four trusted pillars of EU dairy policy, restitution, intervention, import tariffs and milk quotas, are being dismantled. The world market is having a greater influence, which at the very least will cause much greater volatility in milk prices. EFD Nederland will like to show you how the Dutch dairy farmers anticipate on this new reality. The classic response to price volatility is to increase scale. The fact is that the average scale of a dairy farm in the Netherlands already increased the last 10 years. In the quarter year 96-97, just 12% of the dairy farms had 500,000 kilos of milk or more. In the last quarter year, 48% of the farms had 500,000 kilos of milk or more. A significant growth, but it still means that 52% of the dairy farms are having less than 500,000 kilos of milk. This means that the average size of a dairy farm in the Netherlands in 2006 was 493,000 kilos of milk. Slovakia has the largest dairy farms in Europe with an average size of 1.1 million kilos of milk. The UK ranks second with 888,000 kilos of milk, followed by Denmark with 864,000 kilos of milk. But because of the new reality and stimulated by the increased milk price at the beginning of this year, it is expected that a lot of Dutch dairy farmers will choose for significant growth to an average herd size of 300 until 400 cows, or maybe even more. Family farms are at the heart of the Dutch dairy industry and are expected to remain so. Growth will also take place on family farms, achieved in particular through increases in labor productivity, for instance through the use of milking and feeding robots. The third answer to the new reality is diversity. In a densely populated country such as the Netherlands, this option offers a lot of opportunities. Dairy farmers are supplementing their income with farm campgrounds, nature management, children's activities, petting farms and many other activities. In addition to the three main strategies of increasing scale, family farms and diversity, every dairy farmer wants to optimize his business. One of the strengths of the Dutch dairy sector is automation. you'll find a lot of milking robots in the Netherlands. In 2000 there were 333 automatic milking systems. In 2006 it increased to 878 automatic milking systems. The rotary parlour and the side-by-side parlour are also gaining popularity. Because of that, the traditional herringbone parlour is losing market share. Robots to handle manure and electric fencing are also appearing on the scene. All of these are designed to increase labour productivity. A strong focus on the entire genetic spectrum, from bull selection to insemination, pregnancy checks through to calving, is the basis for success and commercial optimization. Expanding herd sizes means that the goal of breeding remains a problem-free, sustainable cow. Together with developments such as the use of pre-sexed sperm, the dairy breeder is also anticipating the new reality. The basis for any successful dairy business is good feed. With milk yields of about 10,000 kilos of milk per lactation, fine-tuning is the magic phrase. Good compound feed, good roughage, it all needs to come together effectively. The farmer's own knowledge, supplemented with advice from the feed mill, makes feeding a festival for high value. Increasingly, farmers need to be entrepreneurs to effectively anticipate the new reality. Entrepreneurship demands strategic thinking, for instance, to choose the right partners for financial issues. Farmers can call on help from strong financial partners such as banks and accountancy bureaus with agricultural backgrounds. The Dutch dairy farmer knows as no other that well-designed animal housing is also essential. Developments in this field are progressing rapidly. Waiting areas, treatment lanes directly after the milking parlour, smart fencing, it all leads to ever more efficient farming. What the Dutch consumer wants to see is contented cows grazing in fields. Meanwhile, increases in scale and regulations surrounding manure management mean the Dutch dairy farmer is more inclined to house his cows indoors year-round. This is an area of great tension for the Dutch dairy industry. In anticipation of this, the two largest dairy cooperatives in the Netherlands introduced field milk last year. This fresh milk, for which the farmers are paid a higher price, is guaranteed to have been produced by cows allowed to graze outside. In the Netherlands, citizens and society is always looking over the shoulder of the dairy farmer. This could be seen as an impediment, but it also offers certain opportunities in the new reality. By considering not just profit, but also people and the planet, the dairy farmer can create added value and market it too. Of course, the basis for successful farming in the new reality remains the individual farmyard. However, the strength of the Dutch dairy industry has always been its high degree of organization, mostly cooperative based. One could say that the Dutch agriculture is ruled by co-ops. 85% of the dairy industry is cooperative, mainly because of Campina and Royal Friesland Foods, who are about to merge to the largest dairy co-op in Europe. But, as this graphic shows, the cooperative influence in banks, the feed industry, genetics, accountant service and farm labor service is high. The dairy industry in the Netherlands has a strong focus on export. More than 50% of the total dairy production is being exported. In Denmark and Ireland this is 43%. But in the UK, for instance, it's only 3%. Most of the Dutch dairy products find their way within Europe. But the Netherlands are number one if you rank the European countries to their share in dairy export to countries outside this continent. Almost a quarter of Europe's export to third countries comes from the Netherlands, followed by Germany 13% and France 12%. With the help of this strong focus on export, the Dutch dairy industry is able to pay their farmers a milk price which is above the average in Europe. This graphic shows the average milk price, published by the Dutch Dairy Board with the help of EDF members, from February 2007 until February 2008. Campina ranks third with €35.86 per 100 kilo standardized milk. Royal Friesland Foods is on the fifth place with €35.12 per 100 kilo standardized milk. In the Netherlands you'll find two major interest groups for dairy farmers. 66% of the dairy farmers is member of the Dutch Federation of Agriculture, LTO. The Dutch Dairy Union, NMV, although small, with 14% of the dairy farmers as a member, is gaining influence, as this country noticed a few weeks ago when the union organized a huge strike by dairy farmers to enforce a higher milk price. Not just growth, but growth through working together is an option which an increasing number of dairy farmers are considering. Under the motto "Together we are strong", initiatives have been set up whereby dairy farmers work closely together with, for instance, crop growers. The new reality in the Dutch context demands an entrepreneurial, creative, innovative, strategic approach. You have just heard that the many ways in which the Dutch farmer and dairy sector is approaching this. Today and the coming days you will see, hear, taste and experience much more how the Dutch dairy farmers respond to this new reality of which every European dairy farmer is being confronted with.